Hi, good evening, everyone. Can anyone hear me? Please confirm.
Yes, we can hear
Yes, we
you.
can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to class. It's another lecture day. So I would advise that we go back to our individual parties, our WhatsApp groups, and remind our mates. I think we should have like we are close to 1,000, and presently on the Zoom call we have just 49 students present. So please, if you can reach out to your other colleagues for them to join so we get started. We're going to continue at exactly 5:05. Please, let's reach out to them. Thank you. Okay, it's exactly 5:05 and we're going to get started. So welcome to class, everyone. It's another day of learning, unlearning, and relearning, right? And I believe that you're also having an amazing time with us since from yesterday. And today we are going to continue. So today, our topic for today is historical lessons from Nigeria's independence for modern leadership. Please, I need confirmation that I'm being heard.
Yes, please, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so before I introduce our facilitator from today, I'll briefly read his profile. Our facilitator for today, it's nobody else but
Peace. I think they've had my fault too much. But,
okay,
SF is like this too much. They must have heard it. I'm still going to take them multiple classes, and they've heard my talk quite a lot. I just think
okay,
there's no need. Thank you,
okay.
peace.
So before you take over ED, I would love to say that please, as the class is going on, let's drop our questions in the chat box if you can't speak. And then, of course, write them down. There's going to be time for that. And at the same time, please ensure that your name, like your Zoom name, is the way you want it to appear on your certificate so that we don't get any mix up. So, Edie, you have the mic, sir.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Court 18. It's a pleasure to have a conversation with you guys again. I'd like to critically note, I've not dropping classes. I don't know if the chairpersons, or the ESCOs of the political parties have been briefed. But if your political party participates below core, we are going to have to deduct marks based on that. I'd like to know if I'm clearly audible or if you can hear me as we speak. Can you hear me, please?
We can hear you, Edie. Good evening.
Loud and clear,
Okay,
Edie.
okay, thank you very much, Jessica. So, I'd like you to widely note that class performance and party's performance is all tangent to you graduating. There's been a few breaking of rules. I've had to personally deal with those conversations that happened in the APC, and if I'm right, the Labour Party. I had to eventually intervene. I'd like to make something clear again. If there are old students here, you know something about me. The college is ready to graduate two people. If it's two people that deserve or have given the time that's necessary for the certificate. Listen clearly based on foundational performance and character, discipline, and understanding the way the politics and conversation works. The reason why this class is structured this way is because outside in the world, yeah, you say wiki can talk anyhow, this person can talk anyhow. We don't want more wikis, so we're training people that won't be wiki. And we don't have a problem spending the amount spent on the class just to ensure two people are not wiki or two people are not Reno Moki or etc. or sorry, etc. And we will ensure that. Like I always say, cohort is about democracy, you with us, or our actions towards you, or democracy. School to run, we have certificates to protect. Because of what our certificates have become over the years, we will not be subscribing to, things that occur a little out of the other. So NEPA is taking light. I don't know whether I'll be allowed a few minutes just to correct that. Please, I don't know if Lisa has something to say. Just give me a few minutes to correct the NEPA situation and then I'll get back, okay?
Okay, Edie.
Lisa here. Peace, I here. A few minutes. So in that time,
Okay, Edie.
I'm surprised that we have just 133 people in class, and that's really poor. So maybe when react on what happens this weekend, you'd understand that we take these classes very seriously. So I'd like to ask for a 5-minute break. Try to sort out the light situation. I'll get back to you guys.
Okay, so before we get Edie come back, I don't know. I would love to ask if there's anyone who would love to share your expectation for this class, like what you expect from this class. If there's anyone who would love to share, you can just indicate by raising up your hand. Am I being okay? So we have Rashidat Hamza. You can unmute and speak, Rashidat.
Good evening, Didi, and everyone. I expect that this class I would learn what has happened in Nigeria back then, like let's say from colonial era and stuff like that till date, and what's those occurrences or events that happened back then, what it's made Nigeria to become today, and everything.
Oh, thank you so much, Rashidat, for that. Of course, the place of history in our development cannot be overemphasized. Okay, let's hear from John Mark Kalu. You can go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, class. My expectation in today's class will be pointing or focusing on the driving results on the past histories of our country and what ways are we going to amend those past history to make sure that we suit in the modern society where we find ourselves. That's my expectation on today's class. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John Mark Kalu. Ibrahim, you can unmute and speak. Ibrahim, are you there? I've asked you to unmute. Okay, if Ibrahim is not there, let's have Olua Funsho. I've asked you to unmute. Olua Funsho.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My expectation today is to get to see and take a walk through history to see how we became who we are today, like the historical events that happened that structured Nigeria to be where it is today, and how they affected both positively and both negatively. Thank you.
I love the emphasis you made on positively and negatively, right? That's to see that in some way history has actually affected us negatively and also positively. Today we'll find out how that happened. Paul Alcohol. Paul Alcohol. Okay, Paul is not there. Let's have Mobolaji. Mobolaji, I've asked you to unmute. Okay, if Mobolaji is not there, let's have Ibrahim Umar.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you very much for your wonderful opportunity and for putting this culture as part of our syllabus.
Okay.
What I would say is culture have a vital role in terms of affecting our country or the citizens of Nigeria, either in the positive way or in the negative way. And we wish and hope that these today's lectures will give us a brighter role way, or the way out on how we can mitigate it, reduce it, and manage it in terms of making Nigeria a suitable place for every culture to survive. And I'm seeing that most of the cultures are dying, which I think they are resourceful cultures that we make a lot of money if we can maintain them, but advance them and modify them. I think
Okay.
they will make it will be served as a natural resource for us, most especially in Nigeria. So thank you very much, the ED, the Electoral College, the organizers, and everybody, and we wish to hope and listen to this fantastic topic. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much to everyone who has spoken. We have Edie back. So Edie, you can go ahead.
So thank you, everyone. I love the conversations I was sharing. I loved what I was, paying attention to. Now, what's critical is that we need to understand that most of what we understand about Nigeria is fully biased to whoever told us the story, or whatever we are looking at it from. Like if you stay in northern Nigeria, you feel that, Southerners act a certain way. Stay in southern Nigeria, you think that everybody in the north is Hausa. If you stay in south, you assume southeast a particular nature. If you stay in southeast, you think everybody else is against you. Now, we need to understand one critical point, which is where I'd like to base the beginning of this conversation. Before the colonizers came into Nigeria, what is critical to understand is that what we know today as southeastern Nigeria ran itself in a republican system, and I'll define. A republican system is kind of like the parliamentary system or like the legislative system where everybody came together. There was no exact ruler. Then you came in, you sat down, you discussed the conversation, they agreed on something, and everybody went back. It was kind of like everybody was equal, and that was the conversation. If you go towards the southwest in Nigeria, what you'd have had was a monarchical relationship, a slight democratic slash monarchical. So there was a king, there was a prime minister, like what you have. I won't say parliamentary system because it wasn't legislative. So it was kind of like a monarchical and presidential system, because actually the prime minister was president anyway. You can't really fix it up because it was kind of African. So you had the monarchical system, on which you had also a kind of democratic rule with somebody acting as, like presidential on top of everything. Now, as you go into northern Nigeria, you would have quite a whole different ballgame. So it was, of course, hidden under monarchy, but it was more like what you term feudalism, meaning the larger land you had, the more control you had on people and your subjects. And subjects now in the north was critical. Subjects were only subservient to who controlled the particular land they were in. This is critical to note because eventually you're going to understand why the north votes the way it does, the southwest votes the way it does, and southeast votes the way it does. So welcome to colonial era, the Niger company selling what we know as territory of Nigeria and Cameroons to the British government or to the Kingdom of Great Britain. So British colonizers implemented a system where traditional rulers acted as intermediaries, particularly in northern Nigeria. Now, this is critical to note. In southeastern Nigeria, there weren't even traditional rulers in some places, so they had to appoint and create positions for that. This entrenched ethnic divisions and limited direct engagement with modern governance structures, meaning the reason why we never directly follow through the process. So the reason why you fail at local government or you fail at state governments to demand the kind of governance you want is because this system created the exact behavioral analysis of how Nigerians think about politics or look at governance. So it was always the king, then the queen. Let's just use the word the queen, but moved into that. It was the president, the president, the president. And we haven't come out of that into the fact that our local governance can provide this thing. So there were national movements. Now, key figures like Herbert Macaulay, Obafemi Awolowo, and Nnamdi Azikiwe championed self-rule in Nigeria preceding its independence. Now, newspapers like the West African Pilot founded by Azikiwe became tools of mobilizing public opinion against colonial rule. Now, our newspapers present today, I think they survive more on intriguish headlines and things that, do not inspire into thoughts or do not inspire a conversation. Most of the time, target of writing a piece, and I quite do a lot of opinion pieces, but I'll tell you that the target of writing a piece now is more reflective on the intelligence or the know-how of the writer than it is allowing you to think outside the box and develop your own ideas. Now, the legacy of colonial governance was indirect rule left a legacy of administrative inefficiency and a focus on regionalism and national cohesion. So the reason why you are more Yoruba, or you're more Igbo, or you're more Hausa, or you're more Efik, or you're more Tiv, or you're more Tarok, you're more Mangu, no, Plateau, why did I give two tribes? You're more Kanuri, you're more Fulani, you're more different tribes. It's because the administrative inefficiency at the local government level didn't allow, that's based on this indirect rule, didn't allow for you to be able to understand how governance and structure works. Now you need to understand the pre-independence era 1960s. Now, the philosophy of the founding fathers, Nnamdi Azikiwe advocated for Pan-Africanism and unity across Nigeria's diverse regions. I would say he was critically behind, one Nigeria, the way Nigeria should be its entire system. Tafawa Balewa championed the idea of a federal state while maintaining regional autonomy. This is key. He championed the federal state, but he believed regions should function individually to promote the federal state. Now, Sir Ahmadu Bello critically focused on strengthening northern interests while cooperating with other regions. Note that none of these parameters were bad. They were just perspectives of people that led at the time. And let's critically note that none of these men were above 40 at the time. So do not to hit them on the head. They went up to 40, they grew up in villages, but they had the opportunity to travel abroad and see the world. So do not think that probably you in this present time would have probably made a better decision. I don't think you would have if it came to managing Nigeria in the post-independence era. Now, the challenges of nationhood, the first challenge Nigeria ever had was 1963 census and the electoral controversies, which heightened regional tension. So there was elections in 63, and that was Nigeria's first elections. And also the census. And now in the census, it proved that, which is still the argument now, North brought in people from Niger, brought in people from Chad to increase its population so that more money could go to the North, which is the normal argument till today. The funny thing is we're not doing anything different than we've done shortly post-independence. We're still playing the same parameters. We're still thinking the same exact way. We're still running our thoughts in the same exact category. Now, ethnic politics began to overshadow national interest, contributing to instability. Now, most people will tell you the 1966 Civil War, the North turned against the East. No, I'll tell you the truth. And you don't need to accept it. But if you study well enough, you find out everybody turned against everybody, which is why Nigeria will not institute regionalism again in Nigeria. Because this is the key. When you institute regionalism, I don't know whether it is our minds or our psychological consciousness we tend to attack each other. This region goes against this, which goes against this. There's an unhealthy competition. There should be a healthy competition. All we have is an unhealthy competition against each other. Now, we'll take into there's the constitution I love to look at, and that's the 1946 constitution. Now, most people will ask, Mr. Man, why are you looking at 1946 constitution? The constitution from Clifford in 36, I think. No, I can't remember what year, but there are multiple Clifford, Macpherson, multiple constitutions. But what's critical about the Richards Constitution is that Nigeria is practically responsible for where it is today because of Richard's Constitution. Now, I'll tell you, the first thing was limited franchise. Let's remember that the Aba Women's Riot, which happened about 1936, and then Fumilayo Kuti's issues in 38, 37 within Ibadan led to something critical. Now, I'll tell you something about the Aba Women's Riot. There were no phones, no social media, nothing. But it started in a day. And the distance between Aba and Akwa Ibom, it was in Akwa Ibom and Calabar in 2 days. Now that's massive news spread. It meant that, and then also with Ibadan, which the men were tolerating quite a lot of things. But when Funmilayo Kuti and the women stood up, a lot of things happened. So this is critical to note. It meant that if women stood up in Nigeria, the men went haywire. Meaning that to control the men, and this is me just event. To control the men, you need to tame the women down. So the 1946 constitution was the first constitution in Nigeria that demanded limited franchise. And it's interesting because right now the British is promoting women in governance in Nigeria and etc. But hello, you're the one that took it first in 1946 constitution. So the 1946 constitution is clearly states that you cannot vote or be voted for if you didn't have a particular amount of money. That was what took women out of governance in Nigeria. Thank you. Not many people will tell you this, but that's the truth about it. Our constitution stated clearly, if you didn't have a particular amount of money, you could not vote or be voted for. So the right to vote was restricted to people with high income or property, and you could only vote in Lagos and Calabar. That was the game changer. And that's what we're still fighting today. Also limited participation. The constitution doesn't give Nigerians more responsibility in administration of the country. It limited our responsibilities. I remember my grandfather served within staff in the Congress at the time, not known as National Assembly in Kaduna. And it limited their powers, more on them into local government chairmen, and they were legislators at the time in Kaduna. It also limited legislative power, which was what I was talking about. Regional assemblies had limited power to legislate on minor matters and were subject to governor's veto power. Now, these governor generals were, of course, white. There was also limited representation, which chiefs were nominated to the Legislative Council rather than elected, mainly represented the interest of the nominators. Excuse me. Does that remind you of anything now? Like the situation with Ganduje and the Emir of Kano, situation with Wike talking anyhow to traditional chiefs in rivers, the situation in Lagos where the governor seems to appoint anybody they want as Oba of Lagos. Does that remind you? This was what gave birth to it. Richard's Constitution of 1946. Yeah, the white people adopted it to dominate us. We learned it to dominate each other. Really sad when you look at the Nigerian conversation, isn't it? And there was also limited consultation. The Constitution was rushed through Legislative Council and the British Parliament without consultation with the Nigerian people passed it. It also promoted regionalism. The country was divided into 3 unequal regions, with the North being larger than the other 2 combined. Don't beef the North. It's not that the North pushed that forward. The British had interests, and they played those interests to those games. Now, regional councils were advisory and consultative bodies without the power to appropriate revenue. So why do you have the regions? If you can't appropriate revenue, you could only advise the national. Now, the governor's veto power. The governor had power to veto bills and could reject or accept any advice from members of the executive council. Meaning, there were ministers, there were whatever, who were Nigerian, but the governor general, who was like the president at the time, didn't need to take their advice. He could listen or choose to reject. I'll tell you, read more on the 1946 constitution. It changed and constituted Nigeria from what Nigeria was, from what could have been a effective nation, to a very limited country, limited by those who wanted to tame Nigeria. But they tamed Nigeria into the monster Nigeria has presently become. But we move forward. Now into military rule, the first civil war. Now, a lot of you know a lot about the civil war. A few of you have read about, a lot of you have read about the civil war. Hey, not was right. This one, no, this one attack this one. This one, hey, guys, calm down. Whatever about the civil war, I'll just tell you. The generals involved in this conversation were not up to 36 at the time. It's a little ego, it's a little madness, it's a little, he did this, he did that, South versus North. And in the end, we have a sham that, even though I'll say we've not cheated, people have carried the wounds even up to those who are totally not concerned about it. So the first military coup that disrupted Nigeria's first republic, citing corruption and inefficiency, was 1966. And do not doubt me, the first republic was corrupt. Anthony Echevo, I believe, who was a minister of finance at the time, used to have, you can Google it, he used to have boys, he used to wear very long wrappers, and he had boys, tying the wrappers around their neck for a very long distance, like 3 boys. That was quite interesting. So the Civil War last 1970, and initiated by the situation of Biafra, the war led to over 2 million deaths and widespread destruction. And I'm going over a brief between 1966 and 1999. Economic policies under military regimes. Now, Governor Yakubu Gowon started the post-war 3 hours policy, which was reconstruction, rehabilitation, and reconciliation, aimed to rebuild Nigeria. Now, he had many views. First, back 1977, which is part of the reconciliation, and paying people multiple salaries, which he thought was rehabilitation when Nigeria discovered oil, which was totally irrelevant because we turned Nigeria to a super infrastructural power. But just pay people more salaries. Any reason why we got invested in corruption and largesse? That was General Yakubu Gowon. Now, General Ibrahim Babangida down the line after the second report, his investment into the structural adjustment program liberalized the economy but caused inflation and unemployment, meaning for the first time, Nigeria's economy was totally in control of Nigeria at that time, but Nigerians couldn't handle it. Now, human rights and governance were basically abused between 1960 and 1999. I'm sure what you've heard of what you know today as war against indiscipline, and people thought was cool, but actually infringed on the rights of Nigerians. Now, military leaders often ruled with authoritarianism, silencing dissent. Example, Ken Saro-Wiwa's General Muhammad Sani Abacha. And then the centralized governance structure undermined local levels, which is why, but funny, they undermined local levels. Funny, the local government levels performed better in military administration than they do under democracy. Now, democratic transition, 1990 present, the thing was restoration of civilian rule. So Nigeria has gone, of course, right now, 1990 to 26 years, interruption of democratic rule. Olusegun Obasanjo's presidency, 1999 to 2007, focused on debt relief, anti-corruption, and strengthening democratic institutions. Electoral reform, INEC under leaders like Atari Jega helped improve electoral credibility. Now, ongoing challenges which we have in Nigeria, ethnic tensions, corruption, and insecurity remain highly pressing issues. Now, ethnic tensions, of course, from the fact that land in Nigeria was not properly divided or divided based on the military's thoughts. Like I'll give an example. Miriam Babangida was from Delta, and to be exact, from Asaba. And when the FEC sat down, Maradi was to be the capital of Delta. And Miriam, anyway, rubbed her husband's head in quotes. But we all know influence of the first lady. Today, Asaba is capital of Delta. So those are, things, if I'm Modakeke, the disruptions with it. And, it goes all around, even affecting deep drinking crisis in Benue and Taraba, across everything. Certain tensions were created by poor justice handling, and so that corruption was playing a key role. Now, insecurity. Now, a lot of people look at Nigeria's insecurity as Nigerians turning against Nigerians. Yes, you have a great conversation if say Nigerians turning against Nigerians. But if you have superior information, reach out to talk about because security issue. The moment tensions started in sub-Saharan Africa, Libya, Sudan, Chad, Nigeria was forced to, excuse me, Nigeria was forced to have to blow its borders. And Nigeria didn't want to because it didn't seem important. Now, when we look at Borno that had Chadian rebels breaking inside, and the Ghanaian governor, before he was governor, Senator Alimodu Sharif, hiring some rebels from different places, probably Libya or whatever, to off the Chadian rebels who have been robbing Meju for years immemorial. But now you hire them, you were paying a million naira a month at that time, preceding 2003. Then you stop paying them. Next thing, some people pick up arms and then Boko Haram. I don't want to go into the delicates of it. Everybody's touchy about it, the emotional part of it. But I'll tell you, largely, Nigeria's massive insecurity system is created because there was massive trauma in sub-Saharan Africa, and we had our political divides, and we invited them. If I was fighting Modakeke, we invite a few rebels from that side. Those we invite another set of rebels against each other. Now, what happened is that these guys came into Nigeria. They found out, yeah, it's just simple and it's continued. Pay attention to most of the videos or whatever, you find out those are not exactly Nigerian, but nobody wants to hear this because we all hate each other. So that's it. It's Northerners to blame, it's this one to blame. I'm not justifying any Northern action that probably hurts any other Nigerian life. Now, our successes include strides in technology, fintech, and increased youth political participation. Now, increased youth political participation refers to youth participating in politics, in party level, or whatever. It does not relate to increased youth in governance. When someone like Federal, I remember when I was a PA to a federal minister, I was 27. I was if not the youngest at the time. And you had ministers then like Frank Wike Jr., who was just like 36. You had Osita Chidoka, who was FRSC boss. We even got married as a FRSC boss at the time at 34, 33. We had many of them. Elsa was below 40, Dora Kennedy. There were so many, the whole governance structure and whatever. I enjoyed that time. I worked with great people who were young, intelligent brains. So I don't clown the youth rule exactly. I clamor for the best Nigerians to sit down in position. That's because we worked with young and old who were highly, highly, highly intelligent. I remember I came across Chuba Kadibu at the time when serving in government, and I never forgot that conversation. I saw Bolagi from far, and he spoke at an event, and I nearly fainted. I couldn't believe Nigerians could be that smart. So I don't believe in youth power. I believe in Nigerians who love the country taking over and working with the country. Now, expanding lessons from now, lesson one, we need to critically understand the value of unity in Nigeria. I always say till we walk out of the canals of ethnicity, we will never swim or walk the waters of diversity. And we do not understand the power. Our real power is our unity, not our division. And I think that's where we've had problems in Nigeria. People have been able to break into Nigeria, cause insecurity, steal our resources, etc. Now, historical examples are Tafawa Balewa's coalition building efforts. I think this is a coalition didn't start today. Coalition has started and it's part of our governance a lot between the Northern People's Congress and the National Council, that's the NCNC, National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons, which had Tafawa Balewa serving as prime minister and had then Nnamdi Azikiwe serving as president at the time. Festac 77 was Festival of Arts and Culture, celebrating Nigeria's cultural diversity, tried to sell it to the world. It was a brilliant idea. We spent lots of money that we should have spent. But if we had kept it up, I think we'd have been able to muscle our power in cultural diversity in America and, of course, Africa, showcasing this publicly. Now, modern relevance to the lessons from modern independence are that's the value of unity. Our policies like NYSC, which is foster unity among youths across Nigerians, and then cultural exchange programs and inclusive leadership that can help bridge divides. This is managed properly, I don't think, but we all know. Historical examples of the consequences of policy instability is the military coups of 1966 that disrupted governance and set a precedent for non-democratic interventions, which lasted from 1966 down to 1999. Now, the modern relevance to this is that Boko Haram insurgency and sectionist agitations echo unresolved issues of marginalization. And I always argue this constantly. Every tribe in Nigeria is marginalized. Everybody just feels because they belong to a particular tribe, that tribe is marginalized. But looking at Nigeria, and I'll tell you why we're all marginalized. We're all marginalized because as long as there's no justice when our elections, no justice for the common man, no penalty. I'll tell you, I said, the problem, and that's not bad governance, it's not anything, is that there is nothing to be afraid of. And what we mean is that there are no penalties for being bad. You can imagine a minister on national TV yesterday telling everybody, yes, I bought a Rolls Royce, so what? That's fine. In China, you'll be on it right now. And we have no penalties for anything. We have penalties for bad behavior. We have no penalties for things we have done. We have no penalties for how we think. We have no penalty. It's just flow. On Twitter, everybody wants to kill each other. Hey, what the hell? So you see people on Twitter. Can imagine a girl that is making skin cream. No offense to women. A girl that is making skin creams arguing with a dermatologist on what's good for the skin. You imagine a guy claiming to be a doctor, arguing with the doctor on what's right for Nigeria. Now, when you look at the Boko Haram insurgency and etc., there are all the consequences of things that we refuse to resolve. First thing is understanding boundaries in Nigeria. Second is actually playing a game that Nigeria is a secular country. And this is my argument. And you might agree and you might not disagree. We cannot continue to act like we're a bi-religious state. If we're sponsoring pilgrimage, we should allow whoever is going to worship Mercy Sango, we should pay for your pilgrimage. Anybody who's Buddhist, we should pay for your pilgrimage. Anyone that's if we're not doing that for everybody, we cannot do it for two religions. It's something I've argued clearly. We should scrap that pilgrimage crap. We're a secular country and we must remain secular. Justice must come above religion. I do not think at any point that religion should supersede. So we just have two bi-religions in Nigeria under everybody else. And these are people that were born into it. So it's not like now you start the religion. I know this is a delicate topic when you mention religion in Nigeria, but some things need to be said for where we are headed to as a country. Now, there are historical examples of us strengthening institutions over individuals. Now, military regimes such as Sani Abacha emphasize loyalty to leaders rather than the rule of. Now, Babangida's own was more like emphasize loyalty to the money than to the rule of law. Because it was always the Babangida boys organize something. And Babangida boys are still very much active till now. David Mark and etc. are all Babangida boys. Now, the creation of EFCC in 2003 marked a shift towards institutional accountability, which we still haven't achieved. So we have the EFCC right now, the ICPC, and the investigative. Eating more into them than it is in the populace they're trying to defend. So I always tell people that as long as the president continues to appoint the attorney general, I'm not saying that he can't have a say in the appointment of the attorney general, but there should be a due course and a non-partisan view to the attorney general's position. Because as long as the president continues to that up, handling justice will be hard. Number one, our Ministry of Police is actually under Interior, and so is a lot of our other commands. And that's so that because the presidency can maneuver police at will. Police is supposed to be under the Ministry of Justice. But we're not ready for this conversation. We'll be shouting electoral form, but the little basic nitty-gritty of how a country works, we should pay attention to. We need to reform the judiciary and electoral processes to ensure checks and balances. Right now, the Section 65 is going to be altered by INEC, which gives INEC the power to, when a polling unit or polling is under duress, INEC can dictate the call of whether the election is to be ratified or not. Now, this sounds good, but imagine if INEC can bring in an incumbent president. Anyway, the president didn't win to cross ratify what happened at the polls and say it was not eligible and the president wins. So there need to be balances in this section 65, which INEC is reviewing. And I think I wrote a piece on it today. It should be out in Sahara Reporters. I'll share with the group. And he'll explain more on section 65 and what exactly needs to be done. Now, we need to be able to promote meritocracy over nepotism in public institutions, building public trust. Sorry, I wrote builds. I don't know what I was thinking. Building public trust. So we need to be able to do that. Let's move forward. Now, lesson 4 is economic diversification. Historical examples which point to that. The oil boom of 1970s led to neglect of agriculture, which was Nigeria's backbone, and now we feed on oil and nothing else. Operation Feed the Nation program under 1976-79 aimed to address food shortages, but had very, very limited success. And today, the farms in Operation Feed the Nation are now the farms of a private individual. A modern relevance to economic diversification. Dirty December, which happened in Lagos, which expands the creative industry, the fintech sector, and can further diversify the economy. Now, Dirty December had that's close to $1 billion US spent in Lagos at the time. Yes, it was not government initiated, but government could do more to ensure that 30 December flows well. That's traffic, build bridges, ensure everything is ready, ensure critical mass of hotels, reduce taxes so that hotels could expand and get a lot of things. Which is that Lagos alone and anywhere in Nigeria able to generate at least $1 billion a month if we pay attention to the little figures. So I think this economic diversification is necessary for Nigeria. Now, SM5 is grassroots governance matters, and historical example to that. Actually, and regime centralized governance, weakening local government's ability to deliver service. Now, 976 local government reforms attempted to grant autonomy but faced implementation challenges. Now, modern relevance, local government autonomy. Now, if you look at grassroots governance in Nigeria, local government autonomy has been granted, and this was 7, 8 months back. We're thinking that by now, the federal government will even be releasing money directly to local governments, but apparently that's not going on till now. It's still an argument. So the conversation is, why is implementation so hard? When you look at somewhere like Alimosho, which has a FAC allocation, that's local government FAC allocation of 1.8 billion per month to Alimosho alone. You look at AMAC that has 968 million a month in FAC allocation. And then you're expecting a governor who has been sitting down on all of this. So just let it go. I don't think it will go without a fight. Yes, there are counter laws which are in the house right now to help stop or to mitigate the actions of these governors. But in the long run, we need local governance. Now, till we get to the boat of distorted histories, ethnicity and religiosity, we will never be the greatest nation we were equipped to be. Let me also remind you, Nigeria has 5.4% of the world's entire natural resources. Nigeria contributes to the largest material and most brilliant material resource, human resource, the Black nation has ever seen. Nigeria, of course, I think it's the sixth most populated country in the world. We are limited only by ourselves. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Edie. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much, Edie. It has always been, I think, cohort in, cohort out, it has always been insightful having your sessions. So we're going to jump straight into questions. If you have any question, you can indicate by raising up your hand. And then please, when asking your question, just go straight to the point. Keep the salutations and the thank yous. Let's go straight to the point and also know that others are waiting, right? So also save time. And Kolajo Ajayi, you can unmute and ask your question.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Good evening, ED. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I observed while I was reading it has been a wonderful lecture so far. Thank you very much, ED. I observed while I was reading the material just before the class, and one of the things that was noted as part of the things that has helped us to foster unity amongst us post the Civil War is the First Act 77 especially. And I remember while I was in secondary school, I was opportune to attend a national festival of arts and culture. And to be very honest, I didn't have the experience or the feeling that the Festival of Arts and Culture actually achieved the aim of bonding or fostering national unity, helping ethnics that are diverse to understand one another. So my question is seeking your opinion. Is it that these national festivals have lost their significance, or there is a way that it should be done that it is no longer being done in that way? Thank you very much, Idu.
Okay, so for my explanation, or for my opinion, I'll clearly state that the targets of national cohesion in Nigeria have not been targeted to birth a new Nigeria. They are more targeted to have a conference in which we can lie about the truth that we call Nigeria. It has also been targeted to kind of help build people's personal brands or help project maybe a governor's vision or a president's vision. We've never had, and the truth about it is, if you really look at it, we do not have a Nigerian idea. So if you ask, like, I'll give you an example. When you ask the average American, no soldier left behind, what do you have in Nigeria? Nigeria, we have songs like Chicken and Chicken. Sense man no dey carry last. Everything we have is just, how would I put it? Not on your own. Thank you. We're not projecting an ideal. We're not building a system. And I blame the National Orientation Agency, Arts and Culture, everybody that, because, and I always say this, we've never had a Nigerian president. Not that we don't have presidents that come from Nigeria. What I'm saying is that we've never had a president that loves this country, right? Dedicated to this country. That does not see himself as Igbo, does not see himself as Yoruba, does not see himself as Hausa or Fulani. But here's the conversation. For the people that think that way, like me and a few others, we won't do well if we run for president. Nobody will allow us to win president because they know what's gonna happen. We're gonna end quite a lot of things. We're going to end things like federal character, we'll throw it into the bush, and we'll burn it totally. While burning it, we'll be having Balongo. But, like I said, we need to be able to build a system for national.
Okay, so we're going to take another, the next question from the chat box. And this is from Paul Akoho. He says, is birthing a new Nigeria possible, going by the viruses of ethnic, religious, and political sentiments, bedeviling us as a people and a nation?
I didn't catch you, please. I missed the little part of that.
Okay, so let me take it again. Is birthing a new Nigeria possible, going by the viruses of ethnic, religious, and political sentiments, bedeviling us as a people and a nation?
People keep saying that birthing a new Nigeria. People keep saying birthing a new Nigeria is it possible. When Nigeria is playing, say Brazil, you miss out on Twitter, you collect. Nigerians are united. When there's an issue that actually hurts a lot of us, we're all united. So here's the conversation. Why are we not united when it comes to that's because the distribution of power is not, how do I put it? It's not beneficial. It's not, I don't want to use, I deleted one word from my head. It's in my head now. It's not justiciable when we're sharing anything. Nigerians, when it comes to the real matters or the real things they care about, Nigerians are not fluid. We're how do I put it? Not fluid. We're just the way we are. So you cannot birth a new Nigeria with part of the conversation. And the truth is that it's all for everyone. What is your job in the new Nigeria? What is your job? What's Kunle's job? His job is a lecturer college in Nigeria. He's preaching the message. What is your own personal job? Nigerians, like I always say, mortgage their responsibility. You point to somebody else who is going to build in Nigeria, if you know what I mean. And we need to get that clear. Thank you very much, please. Moving forward.
Okay, so let's take another one. This is from Bagudu Enoch, and he is saying culture is an integral part of human existence. Due to our cultural diversity, Nigeria over the years has been battling with problem of cultural identity. What are your suggestions on ways to address this issue? Did you get that, Edie?
Yeah, here's where Nigerians here's where Nigerians get the definition of culture wrong. Culture is defined as the way of life. Nigerians define culture as the traditions they grew up with. That's where the problem is. So right now, you're supposed to have way of life is different. We've advanced. We're doing a lot of things differently. We're somewhere differently. We're supposed to be thinking differently. What are doing is creating culture, which is the old traditions. This person is Osu. This person is this person is that. This person's father was a slave. Nah. Culture is a way of life, meaning how you live your life. So to be able to move away from culture being what we think it is to culture being what it really is, which is a way of life which we've adopted and chosen to live with ourselves as Nigerians, and trying to say this is the way. As long as we continue to wrongly define culture, Nigeria will not move forward.
Okay, thank you, Edie. So let's take Dogara Isaiah. You can unmute and ask your question. Dogara Isaiah.
Yes, thank you so much. Good evening.
Please go straight to the point. Thank you.
Yes, so while making your presentation, you made mention of the colonial masters dividing the country into three parts, with the north having the largest part of the country. So my question is, how is this, let's say this bias division, how has it been able to impact all the regions, either negatively or positively?
Wait, I like the fact that no wait, stay on the call. I like the fact that of everything I said, you dwelled on that.
Yes.
That is also a Nigerian position. You're already thinking. So somebody divided the country in funny ways. Is the country not still one? It's a question. Is the entire national boundary of Nigeria divided? Is it? I'm asking.
No, based on I asked based on what you said.
Okay. No. I know. Don't go there. I know what you're trying to do. First and
No, I'm trying
foremost,
to understand
I
either.
said no. You are not trying to understand. You are trying to exfoliate your
No,
personal view.
no, sir.
And
I don't
no,
have any
because what
personal.
is it? Wait, no, listen. I said, and listen clearly. I
All right.
said some people divided Nigeria before me and you were born. Oh. Why is Nigeria divided in your mind? The purpose
No,
of this
Nigeria is
class is
actually not
to
divided.
understand. No, wait. Let me finish. Let me finish.
All right.
The purpose
Okay.
of this class, and I'll say divided in your mind because you said one part is bigger than the other. Yes, that's what they did pre-independence. In my head, North not bigger than the South. Is nobody's bigger than anybody. We're just one happy family. We need to divorce this conversation in our heads. I do not believe there's any disadvantage or there's any advantage the North has to the South. I'll tell you something. I'm privileged to come from both sides. I have half blood on one side, half blood on the other side. And I also am privileged to have lived on both sides. And if we could only just understand how to muster our advantages more than we talk about the so-called minimal disadvantages, Nigeria will be in a better position. So I do not think, like, I find it funny when some, no offense, men of God, religious, let me not say men of God, religious leaders, people in activism, always mentioning Lord Dugard. Lord Dugard what? Lord Dugard didn't even have a constitution. He amalgamated Nigeria. That's all he did. Nothing else. He didn't have a constitution. Didn't have anything. People will be saying Lord Dugard, Lord Dugard, Dugard. When you were enjoying the oil boom, you did not mention Lord Dugard. When you were flying to Britain for 120 naira, you didn't call Lord Dugard. When it was 80 kobo to $1, nobody called Lord Dugard. It's when you carried the country finish and have destroyed it yourself. You now remember Lord Dugard. You now remember colonialists. You now remember how they divided Nigeria. The purpose of this is to let you understand the history. It's not for you to dwell on it. This class is not for you to dwell on it. It's just to understand coming from. Understand that the Civil War was fought by some two young men who had a lot of guns around them, who shouldn't have fought it. And this class is for you to understand that um, this is are the mistakes we made for getting here, and these are the mistakes we should not make. That's what this class is about. I'm not going to sit down and castigate northeast, northwest, north, whatever, south, south. That's not the conversation at all. I also earlier recognized the way we all run our system. And if we can localize our democracy in those parameters, I also think it will be able to change Nigeria. But I don't want us to dwell in this kind of conversation. I don't want us to dwell on whether one side is bigger than another. It's only big how. How many places can live? Nigeria is big enough, 928,000 square meters. So big enough for us people to live everywhere. And that's what I think.
Thank you, Edie. We have more hands up, and I'm going to be calling on Ogene, Jude Robinson.
Can
Jude
anyone hear me?
Robinson,
Okay.
Jude Robinson. You can unmute and ask your question, please. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, Edie. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, so it's about the history behind our consistent disagreement and discrediting of population census. I think most of the census we've had, there has been one discrediting to the other. I think the most recent one, by Obasanjo, it was Tinubu discredited it and even had to conduct another one in Lagos State. So I want to understand how this discrediting has affected Nigeria as a country, adding to the fact that we don't want to be, should I say, current data about the number of persons we have in our country.
Okay. Last time I had a census was 2006, if I'm right. Yeah, 2006. Nigeria's constitution asks us to have a census every 10 years. So we're even behind having a census. North and South have always discredited the census because Nigeria shares money according to how the populace is. Now, as much as Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the time was discrediting the census, the same census allowed Ali Moshow have the largest local government. Today, Ali Moshow earns 1.8 billion a month. Nobody's discrediting that one. Nobody will say Ali Moshow is cheating the North. But the moment, and this is not me supporting the North or anything, but the moment one ceiling fan is given to the North above Ali Moshow, nobody will hear words. The difference between Ali Moshow's park allocation and the closest local government is about 1.1, is about, it's about give or take 500 or 400 million, sorry. And that's, nobody talks about it. Nobody has this conversation. So we need to start to look at the way census was and decide to say, okay, look at the number of Nigerians when we do know. But we need to have national spread. The only reason why people live in Lagos is because Ogun is not developed. If Ogun, Oyo, Ekiti has developed to clubs day, Yapa, estate day, Yapa, no flooding, like the last 7 days that it has been raining in Lekki. I just came in from Abuja and I already want to run back. Island is like a pet aquarium right now with enough sewage water and whatever nonsense. Imagine Ekiti was just like this thing. For the guys, let me make this a little funny. Imagine we had hot slay queens that we had in Lekki, in Ekiti, and etc. None of us live in Lagos now. We had the same in Kano, in Jigawa, in Bauchi, in Bombay. None of us live in Abu. So the poor action is I think the way we see things. I think no matter how the census is done, not to disagree. No matter how the census is done, South to disagree. You understand? I think our arguments on census are not based on whether the census was done well or not. It's just that we keep arguing resources in Nigeria instead of developing resources. It's it like Oyo has enough tourist stations to earn more than Lagos by far. Akwa Ibom and Cross River can earn far more than Lagos does. Kaduna can earn far more. Far more. And there are lots of things. It's just sad that we're exactly where we are. If you've been to a state like Cross River, the potential in Cross River is mad. But we keep arguing how much we are receiving from park allocations, and I think that's a conversation on census. Or we're arguing on park allocations and etc. And for me, that's totally, totally irrelevant. And those have always been the conversations on census. Nothing else, nothing sensible else. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Edie, for that response. So we have a question from Comfort Adam, and it says, dating back to Nigerian history, traditional leadership once played a vital role in governance and community accountability. In your experience and current work within electoral and civic spaces, do you believe that reintegrating traditional institutions into modern governance frameworks could improve leadership and governance outcomes across Africa? And if so, what practical steps can we take to bridge that gap without compromising democratic values? Idea. Okay, Edie, if you're speaking, we can't hear you. You're muted. Can anyone hear me? Let me confirm it's not from my end.
Yes, we can hear you, please.
Yes, we can hear you, please. Okay, I think Edie has gone off a bit.
Wait, wait, it's
Wait,
a second. I don't
wait.
know what's
The
happening.
second,
I
I don't know what's
couldn't,
happening.
I couldn't listen.
I couldn't
So could
listen.
you take the question
So
again? I
could you
couldn't
take the
hear
question
and I
again? I
switched
couldn't
networks.
hear and I speak network.
Yes, we noticed you. Okay, so the question is from Comfort Adams, and she says, dating back to Nigerian history, traditional leadership once played a vital role in governance and community accountability. In your experience and current work within electoral and civic spaces, do you believe that reintegrating traditional institutions into modern governance frameworks could improve leadership and governance outcomes across Africa? And if so, what practical steps can we take to bridge that gap without compromising democratic values?
Yeah, so I'm going to answer this very
Yeah, so
quickly.
I'm going to
If
answer
we're
this
going
very
to if we're going
If
to
we're
have a
going to if we're going
bicameral legislature, it's simple. We would have a House of Lords like we have in the UK, which has all the traditional rulers, and governors can no more dictate who becomes a traditional ruler or not. I want that power taken from governors because they're totally disrespectful. They've broken the traditional hereditary leaders. So I want a House of kind of Lords or House of Chiefs, which is one of the houses. Now that House of Chiefs will be able to sit down on laws and they're continuous because they're staying past the tenure. They're chiefs. And then those ones can make those legislative laws. I'd love to have that. And then we can have the Senate as the other house of national assembly. And we can move. That's how I think that can work. Taking away powers from appointing and letting the people themselves appoint their own chiefs. I think that's the simplest way to solve it in Africa. It might not be right, but like you said, you asked me for my opinion. That's my opinion basically on it.
Okay, thank you, Edie. So we have another, let me take another one from the chat box before we go back to those raising their hands. From Usman Baba Mohammed, he says, did Nigeria's leaders at independence have a clear vision for national unity? What lessons can today's leaders learn from this approach or lack of it? Did you get that, Edie?
Can you check it again?
Okay. Usman Baba Mohammed says, did Nigeria's leaders at independence have a clear vision for national unity? What lessons can today's leaders learn from this approach or lack of it?
Wait. Who is asking this question?
Who is that?
Usman Baba Mohammed.
Okay. Tell
Okay.
Usman
Tell
Mohammed I was not there.
Mohammed I was not there.
Okay.
Most of us were not there,
Most
so we
of us
don't know
were
the
not there,
vision
so
they
we
had.
don't know what they had.
What lessons
Okay.
can we learn
What
from
lessons
them?
can
We
we
should not
learn from them?
regionalize
We should not
Nigeria.
regionalize
That's
Nigeria.
that's
That's
I don't think we know
I
whether
don't
their
think
vision
we
was
know
clear or
whether their
not. I
vision was
can't
clear or
argue
not.
that.
I can't argue that.
Okay. So next one, Kolajo Ajayi. I think I've taken a question from him before. Let's take Stanley. Ambassador Stanley, you can unmute and ask your question.
Thank you very much.
Very
Edith,
much. Edith,
I wish we had enough time to
I wish we
engage
had enough
because
time
there are some very
because
busy
there are
things
some
which
very
I disagree with you. But unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time to have that disagreement. The lesson for today is that talks about historical lessons. And looking at the history of Nigeria, sir, from independence, let me not even go too far, from independence up till present. Yeah, so from independence, we had the Awolowas of this world, the Namjazikiwis and the Sardanas and the rest of them, who, in my opinion, and from what I have seen, did not care about Nigeria. It was about their regions, their tribes, and their people. Absolutely. And that cascaded even during the coup. Why did we have a coup and a counter coup? You killed my people, and because you killed my people, I have to kill your people. It's as simple as that. There's no stories. Now, I think sometimes we concentrate on flashes of good things that have happened. So, for example, Fajiwe during the coup, protecting his visitor, an Igbo man, died in the course of it. I will not take those one examples as examples of unity and all. No, you come down to Aburi, come down to the Civil War, come down.
Wait. So chairman, slow down first. Slow down first. I clearly stated something. when I was talking about the Civil War, I said it was fought by young people that had guns, and it did not make sense. End. That was my end statement on the Civil War, and I'm not changing it. And I've never at any point said that Awolowo and co were great. I don't believe they were great. Awolowo was flying a helicopter to campaigns in 1959. Please Google what a helicopter was in 1959. That's like flying a B-52 in 2025. So I don't think they were great. I just don't want to dwell on weaknesses or whatever. I don't want to sit down and argue some kind of things. Please, I beg. Do you understand? Please,
Edie,
please.
don't you
Do you
don't you
understand?
then think that, Edie, don't you think that in itself is a challenge we need to actually face? If history has shown us that historical lessons are not learned at all in Nigeria up to this point, and we say we don't want to dwell on those challenges, on those problems, on those lesser things. Let's rather look forward to the beautiful things, to the future. Let's be optimistic, as beautiful as it is. Don't you think that will limit and incapacitate our abilities to interrogate the issues and to forge forward?
Let me
Be
ask you a
optimistic.
question. Let me ask
I'm
you a
listening.
question. Ambassador Stanley, let me ask you a critical question. What has dwelling done for Nigeria? Because of dwelling, we have a sectionist issue in southeast of Nigeria, which has led to what's called IPOB. People don't go to work on Monday. There's a lot of kidnapping or whatever in southeast. How has that helped anybody? When I think this is quite and this is my point. I think this is quite an elite position. We can talk about it, but I don't want to dwell on anything. Who is wrong? Who is right? Go on and Ojukwu, if you ask me, they're two stupid children, and I do not hide it. And they had plenty guns. And my father was in the military, and I have a lot of military people that came to the house, so I know a lot of intel about the military, or about the situation at the time, which people are not even saying. But I don't want to dwell on it. But we must remember that we had a civil war. We need to remember that. And when this Amotekun crisis, when this Amotekun issue started, I was called in. And a lot of people argued that Kunle didn't support Amotekun. And they almost killed me. Not killed me, but killed me with mouth. And to them, they called me a traitor, and they called me a Fulani slave because I refused to support Amotekun. And I told them I won't support it on basically one critical thing. Nigeria can never give a region a force. Because if it happens, we're going to go back to exactly the same thing that caused the Civil War. And that's my position. It's about the greater good. So I also understand that if we start to dwell on issues that happened directly in 1966, in whatever, 1966 gave us T.Y. Danjuma, gave us Babangida, gave us Abacha, gave us Obasanjo, people that have ruled Nigeria till today, from 1966 till now. I'm even trying to interrogate how the hell did these guys do it? I'm interested because I like to hold Nigeria 1966 to 2025 if possible. No worry, I don't mean that I want to hold Nigeria, but if you have the secret to holding Nigeria like that, it's not so bad. So Ambassador Stanley, is he still there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm listening to you, sir.
Mhm. So I don't think we should create. We're trying to chart a future. Please, as of then, they didn't have social media. Now we're dealing with people that cannot even tell the difference between Dele Momodu and Yesum Wiki. That's our problem now. What's my problem with someone who argued or did something in 90 something? It doesn't affect my present reality. That's the honest truth. And whatever governance was put in place then, I didn't enjoy dividends of it. Funny, we are being ruled by the people that enjoy dividends of it. We are not in direct relation with the situation. So I I don't I don't I don't I don't want to dwell on. If we start what caused problem in Nigeria, I will not sleep for 2 years. I'm not ready to dwell on it. Let's build a Nigeria we can dream. It's not about the non-issues. It's not picking one idea or whatever. I didn't tell you about Fajri. You are the one that mentioned Fajri. I mentioned it. And this is the conversation. Nigeria can be this. Why don't we work towards it? Leave all that problem at all that this one, that one. If you marry an Igala woman, this one will happen. I'm not relevant to the conversation. I just put forward a few things so that we could see the big picture. There's a reason and funny, of all the questions that have been asked in this class, I'm really shocked nobody is talking about the 46th Constitution. Because here's the conversation. Every problem you have in Nigeria stems from the 46th Constitution, the Richard's Constitution, all in Britain's grasp to hold Nigeria in its face. Britain created problem Nigeria cannot sleep over till today. Women's participation, everything, they took it away. Women were very, very participatory in governance in Nigeria till the 46th Constitution. Nobody has asked a question on it. Nobody. But Nigerians, ambassador, and I'm talking to you, don't. Once you mention North and South, Nigerians, they have mouth. Christian and Muslim, hey, they are there. Real issues for the sixth constitution, which has seeped in. And if you look at the 46th constitution, it's not much different from other constitutions in Nigeria. It was the first issue, it was the first problem. And that's why I picked only the 46th constitution. Most people, and I've had this conversation, I've been in events where US is talking about women participating, and I'm like, no, hold up. You deputy ambassador of the US, deputy ambassador of the UK, don't come here and start telling us women don't participate in Nigeria. You stopped women from participating in Nigeria in 1946 with your constitution. And let's be honest, when did women even start voting in America? If I'm right, that should be, I think, 78. When normal women could vote, the average woman could vote in 78. When the women start voting in the UK, I think about 1940 something, 8 or 1968. I'm not sure when. So I don't know who they are to preaching to us women participation in governance. And that's why I'm sorry, maybe because of my big mouth, Electoral College does not get the kind of funding it has. Because I'm not afraid to tell you that, and we need to understand this. The British were the ones that took away governance, women's participation in governance. And it wasn't a patriarchal society. It was the 1940 decision that did that. And nobody here has asked a question on that, which is damning for me. But once we start Yoruba, Igbo, Ojukwu, Yakubu go on, everybody's there. The real problem, Nigerians are missing. They don't want that one. We want to argue Ojukwu. Okay, Ojukwu is dead. Yakubu go on, it's quarter to go. You should continue arguing 1964 now, since that's what you people want to argue. Leave the problem that was caused for you, really. But you don't let 1962 war. Is that for the 6 constitution?
So, sir, we come back to almost the same thing, right? So, you've raised the issues like the constitution we have. No, sir, the constitution we have with the people. We all agree that we are not the ones. The 1999 constitution was not drafted by we, the people, and we have.
It was drafted by who?
By the military, of course. By the military. It
was not drafted. It was not drafted by the military.
Okay, please Google it. Enlighten me on that, sir, please.
It was not drafted. Like I've told you, use Google. And I even spoke at the memorial lecture. The person who was the chairman of the Constitutional Committee at the time, I spoke at his memorial lecture in Abuja. He was from River State and he was a lawyer, a professor of law in UNIMAID. Please Google it. Well, 99 Constitution was not written by the military. That's a common misconception fed to you by activists. It wasn't drafted by the military. Never was.
Okay.
Never was.
Who drafted
it? Sorry,
the reason why
it's part of our problem.
Like I've said, if you want to hide something from a black person, I've told you to Google it. It's not hidden information. Just Google it. But if you continue listening to story, OPS secretly, and co, I cannot help you.
Okay, I have to jump in at this point. Stanley,
like I said, the discussion is not time.
Yes, actually. So you can continue that.
Who is saying Abdulsalama? You know the funny thing? I don't know. Wait, I need to clear this.
Okay, then.
You people have your phones with you. Google who drafted the 1999 Constitution in Nigeria. This is just to clarify because it's kind of sad that I'm in class and somebody is saying Abdulsalam Abubakar drafted the Constitution. Why now? And everybody thinks the military drafted it. Just this simple thing Nigerians do not know. Please, somebody should Google it and give me the answer, please.
Okay, so as we are anticipating that answer, we'll take the next
No, let's
question.
wait for the answer.
Okay, we
No,
should wait.
please.
Okay.
I'm stamping on
Okay.
existing protocol. Somebody should Google it. Oh my God. People that have not read the Constitution, they say because it provides powers to leaders beyond human reason. Okay. Justice Nikki. Thank you. I didn't want to call the names. Not that I didn't know his name. I spoke at his memorial lecture. Nikki Toby. Is he military? Come on, guys. Come on, guys. I told you. You see everything you know from outside, dump it. The military did not give you the 99 Constitution. 99 Constitution is not too far from the 79 Constitution. I spoke at his memorial lecture in Abuja. I've spoken at memorial lectures. Doctor has been a very good friend. Justice Nikki Toby was the person who a committee held that. Yes, I told you. Justice Nikki Toby. And you guys carry this thing that the military, who told you that? So, or BS Chrisley, you guys cannot continue like this. No. You're here to understand that there's a difference. That's why I sat down and I said, I'm stamping existing protocol. You must learn this. You must learn it. Why would you come and join Absalam Obaka military? No. We can move on now. So
Okay.
Abdul is still telling me Abaka set it up. Somebody has to set it up now.
If we go continue like
Okay,
this,
I'm
we'll
not
not
ready to
finish
have
today.
this kind. I'm not ready to have this kind of argument. Nigerians just don't want to.
Okay, so let's take our next question from Abdul Hamid. I've asked you to unmute. You can unmute and ask your question. Go ahead. Abdul Hamid, we can't hear you. Okay, while you're on that, because we can't hear you, is it just me? We
Clear
can't
that.
hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
So my question is that while it is clear that historical incidents influence present-day events in Nigeria, so I wonder if we should continue to place such heavy emphasis on the past, or will it be more productive to focus on critically analyzing the current behavior of our leaders and the contemporary national and global issues shaping our reality?
His voice was echoing. I barely heard us.
Okay, can you take that again, Abdul Hamid?
If he's using two
Okay, sir.
devices or
So what I was
something,
saying
your
was,
voice is echoing.
Let me mute
sir, I think it's
mine.
the network.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Abdul
Okay.
Hamid. Or mute Abdul Hamid. Okay, you're no more echoing now.
Okay,
Fine.
so what I was saying was, while it is clear that historical antecedents influence present-day events in Nigeria, so I was wondering if we should continue to place such heavy emphasis on the past, or will it be more productive to focus on critically analyzing the current behavior of our leaders and the contemporary national and global issues that is shaping our current reality?
Thank you very much for that question. If we continue placing emphasis on the past, we'll continue making mistakes. You can imagine an entire cohort of the Electoral College arguing with me that the military wrote the 99 Constitution. Now they're arguing that the committee was answerable to Salam Abubakar. Nigerians don't want to learn anything new. They love dwelling in the past. They love thinking in the past, love finding reasons and engaging their responsibility in the present for things that occurred in the past. And that's Nigeria's problem. It has always been our problem in Nigeria. We should be sitting down looking at where do we want Nigeria by 2050? Where should Nigeria should lead the African Committee of Nations by 2030, 2040? How are we going to lead it? Strategically with security, we're going to develop warships. We're going to develop nuclear power. We already can enrich uranium and plutonium because the nuclear deposits and the nuclear research institute we have in Zaria. We've never tried to do that. Satellite technology, we should be heading Africa on satellite technology because we have our own satellite agency and we built our satellite agency long before. But oops, Rwanda has overtaken us, and even satellites alone for primary school students. Nigeria should be at the forefront of agriculture, considering we have quite a lot of cash crops. We have cocoa, we have etc. Cotton. Nigeria is far behind. Nigeria imports upon Nigeria's large, massive waterways around it and bodies of water in Nigeria. Nigeria imports 1.2 trillion naira of fish to eat in Nigeria, which is a problem. Nobody wants to address those conversations. Nigeria exports $1 billion of cocoa and imports $9 billion of cocoa derivatives, which are chocolate, crunchies, whatever, cereal, whatever, anything that is made out of chocolate. But we export 1 billion and shout we're exporting 1 billion. We import $9 billion worth of cocoa derivatives. Nobody's having a conversation. Nigeria cannot manufacture a pencil. Nigeria cannot think forward. And nobody's ready to have that conversation. Meanwhile, this is a market. We're not even doing it so that we can sell it out. Nigeria has a market of 200 million people, which is comfortable for us. If you can create things for 200 million people, you don't even need the outside world. The revenue is here. No, we want to argue Absalam. I want to argue, oh, Nikitobi wrote the constitution. You say it was approved by Salam Abubakar. I don't know who want to approve it before the government entered. And the democratic government, the Absalam Abubakar approved it and handed it to the democratic government. Okay, if your National Assembly wasn't sleeping so much, why haven't they altered the issues that to be within the 9 constitution? But nobody will blame them. The same National Assembly and the same Nigerians we pointed to Absalam Abubakar who approved the 99 constitution that Justice Toby eventually worked on and wrote entirely and be arguing Nigeria's problem. But when they little bit and they feel Absalam Abubakar is even room, they will go as far as what's his name, Lord Lugard, and start blaming him for the problems. Therein lies our problem. So till Nigeria is ready to see itself as a global visionary, look forward into what Nigeria can be. Nigeria has not even used the fact that it has movies sold all over the world to begin to market its own ideology. To begin, America took over the world. It wasn't when they bombed Hiroshima. It was when they made Captain America and told you that Captain America will save everybody in the world. And America conquered the world when they made movies. Now they're telling you if aliens came to the world, they will meet the American president. And all of you believe that still today. Everybody believes the only alien sightings are in the US. Area 51 is the only thing. They made you believe that. But Nigerians, no, you don't want to do that. No, that Lord Luga, Ojuku Naita, Yakubu, go on, kill my people. That's what you want to dwell on. It is low, it is mundane, and it's very, very, very prehistoric, backward, and I don't even know.
Okay, thank you, Edie. Daniel, you can unmute and ask your question. Daniel AC. I've asked you to unmute.
Okay. Good evening. Thank you, please.
Good evening.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. Yes. Please, sir, out here in a college, the lecture have been so impactful for today. Please, I want to ask, sir, you've been talking of like looking forward and going forward. So please, what's the way forward, sir? I am very interested to know. Instead of dwelling on the past, which has really held us bound, it was divide and rule. But what's the way forward, sir? So that we who you are trying
I
to
believe in
raise.
this shortest way. The way forward is first to create a tribe that is known as Nigerians.
Okay.
A tribe that listens, a tribe that does not continue to argue even after I proved that Nikitobi wrote the constitution. They are still arguing that it's Absalam Abubakar. I'm not even ready to engage because I don't understand. If I've spoken at the number of places I've spoken at, and I know this, you just want to argue based on sentiments, and I don't want to do that. So Nigerians must first divorce themselves of the ideals they have in stock in their heads that their parents gave them. They need to divorce themselves from that. We need to create a tribe known as Nigerian. That is the first thing. We need to create a tribe known as Nigerian. Everybody that is Nigerian is marginalized in Nigeria. Anybody that represents Nigeria alone is hit by every tribe because they will tell the truth about everything and you will not like them. So we need to create that tribe. Then we need to chart a path for Nigeria. Where do we want Nigeria to be? Those are two core things that need to be done. So first, we need to first create a tribe called Nigerian. So we need to create a tribe that is Nigerian, that is not, but it's not Christian, it's not Muslim, it's not traditional, it's Nigerian. This is who we are, this is how we are. We must project that kind of level. Well, we haven't created the tribe Nigerian. I think that's most critical. And we should drive a roadmap to Nigeria. And then also divorce ourselves of our idols, which I don't know whether it's activists that injected it into the brain that you want to be arguing constantly, that you don't listen or you don't understand. You just want to choose to argue. And for me, I can only do what I'm trying to do, which is impart knowledge. Choice whether you listen or not is yours. It's not mine. Do you understand? I'm already who I'm supposed to be. I'm going higher and I probably will continue to go higher. You can choose to remain where you want to stand. For me, I think Nigerians also said we must divorce their 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 thought process and their ideology till they get it out of their head, they can't move forward. That's the truth.
Pusiafa. Okay, Rabihat, you can unmute and ask your question. Rabihat,
Okay, thank you very
are you
much.
there?
Thank you very much. I'm Rabiat. Thank you, Mr. Kule, for the insightful session. So I want to say something that is there a policy that can mandate that at least we should move from importing to exporting? Like for the statistic you share concerning the cocoa, if we export that amount of cocoa, it's really a whole lot, and we are making progress in terms of every policy or this, and it should be mandated that every state should have what they are generating in raw materials. And it's very shameful for us to be importing matches. Like, how can we go forward? Thank you very much.
I'm not the president, so I'd love to answer that question. But even the cocoa matter, I don't say it's a big thing. Like you are exporting $1 billion, you are importing $9 billion. Like let me say you are growing tomatoes at the back of your house and you are selling the tomatoes for 2,000 naira, and then you are buying stew from Mama Ola, Iya Olaya, you're buying stew, or what they call that joint's name, whatever it is. Let's say you're buying stew from the place at 15,000 naira after they bought tomatoes from you 2,000 naira. Doesn't make literal sense. It's not sensible. Nigeria has stopped producing. We earn so much from oil. We have refused to produce. These policies are there. Nigeria has pushed on a manufacturing this thing. I don't know, we don't have the willpower. This is a country where if you look at how much we spent on refineries since I'm not sure of the figures. If we've spent close to $500 billion on refineries alone, and we're not still not producing oil till now. I think I don't know. I don't know. No country in the world. We are doing the same thing with crude oil. We take crude oil from the ground, we sell it to people, they go and refine it, bring it back to us, and we buy it. Nobody does that in the world. Nobody. Only Nigeria. We sell wood massively. We import pencil, chair, table, everything. I don't want to talk about those figures. Let me tell you how bad it is. China's sand is not good enough to make tiles. Nigeria, China's come and do rail lines in Nigeria. China has, hey, can we carry it? Yeah, you can take the sand. You're not doing anything with it. China is still selling us tiles. True or false? If you're in the market, you know. China is selling us tiles. It's Nigerian sand that we reject because we are too tired to do it. See, my sister, let's not have that conversation. It's too strenuous. We have enough steel force in the world. Since 78, Adalkta is not working till today. I don't know. There are some questions that defy logic. So I don't know what Nigeria will do, whether we'll shoot everybody that was around preceding somebody takes government, then we start all over again, because I do not understand. But the problem is, I'll tell you the truth. My own generation just wants to send slave queens to Monaco to go and do BBL. And I'll tell you because I have friends in power. They want to send slave queens to go and do BBL in Monaco or buy the latest cars. That's what my own generation wants to do. That's if they are not sending one local government in Nigeria to Niger Republic. So we're even worse. I don't know what to say.
Okay, Mohammed Ade Toyimbo. I've asked you to unmute. Mohammed, can you hear me? If Mohammed is not there, let's have John Mark. John Mark, you can unmute.
Good evening, sir. My
Good
question is, having learned from the three political zone so far, how they were able to rule themselves. Now, in the current Nigerian situation, is there no possible way that we can be able to adopt to make a new Nigeria realistic? Thank you, sir.
For me, I don't know. I've been working at this new Nigeria thing for a while. The greatest problem with creating a new Nigeria is people that want to stay in the old Nigeria. That's the problem. Everybody here wants to argue. Igbo people have been cheated. Yoruba people hate Igbos. Yeah, we gave chance in our place in Lagos. Now they're acting like they own the land. Rubbish. That's the problem. Utter rubbish. Therein lies the problem. A lot of people don't want to leave the old Nigeria because what they know. They don't even want to understand or explore things outside that. No, they don't want to know. So I don't I don't I can't conceptualize us leave or us moving forward. Because first we have to leave the old ship. In this class, there are people that will argue with me till tomorrow. That is Absalam or General Sani Abacha that wrote the 99 Constitution. Okay, I cannot help you. At that point, I cannot help you. I cannot. Because you are choosing to remain exactly where you are. I cannot help you. So for me, if you want us to move forward, people have to leave the old Nigeria. And the old Nigeria is not a place. It is here. The old Nigeria. Nigeria know the work. Nigeria will happen to me. It happen to you. Are you not part of the cause of it happening? If today I'm only you in the coming look for whose name, okay, I'm seeing Boyega picture or Yola. If I just say, man, as your ED, man, things just tight for me, guy, man, Roger me 20, man, I just use to chop pepper soup this night. I go send back to you. If I don't pay that now, Boyega tomorrow will bring police to my house, they will slap me. Then later, Boyega is driving in the night and police shoot him in the leg because he's outside and they tend to drop money. He'll be saying police brutality. But who first taught the police to be chopping money or whatever? You see, it's a complex system. We need to leave the old Nigeria. That's true. We do not leave the old Nigeria. We're going to remain. I love the conversations in this class, especially that we're talking about the antecedents here. This class about the antecedents in Nigeria. Everybody has mouths. I can't wait for when we do the national ethics, citizen ethics and integrity policy, which is the policy that binds you people to Nigeria. And then I'll see what this class will come out and say. Because a lot of you are guilty of being on Nigeria. A lot of you. When we start down, some people will cry in this class. You have mouths now because you are pointing at Ojukwu, Awolowo, that they spot now. Your own contribution to spoiling Nigeria, them Ojukwu are learning. Trust me. But let's get to that class. It's not easy if they come up front. We'll handle this conversation later. So I don't know. Let's move forward. We need to divorce ourselves. We need to leave the old Nigeria.
Hello, good
Okay,
evening.
yes,
I'm on the
Mohammed.
line.
Mohammed, please just go straight to the point and ask your question.
Okay. Please, I want to ask if it is the policy that
the reform. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I can.
Uh-huh. Please, we have been facing a lot of challenges from the difficulties of this our leadership. So, and then my question is that how can we be able to choose the right leadership as we have been learning here now? People are not ready to learn. So, and then I would think if it is possible to, as a student, if you can give us the assignment, like the antecedents, which is the past we have in Nigeria. So we should go deeper. We should go and make findings. Which one is better that we think we can adopt, and which one is not better that we think we cannot adopt? Because I don't even really think the one we are doing right now is even working for us, because as we are going front, we are still going back. So it is really, really disturbing. So I want you to please try as much as possible to try to put us through.
So maybe we'll consider that in one of your assignments or something. I think maybe we'll consider that. I don't know. Let's see what next week looks like.
Okay. Let's have Ogene Maho. Jude Robinson. You can unmute and ask your question. Jude, are you there? Okay, if Jude is not there, then let's.
Okay, sorry. Good evening.
Okay, good evening. Go ahead. Straight to the point.
Good evening, sir. Good evening. So, Edie, you've spoken about National Retention Agency for quite, like most of the classes. I've heard you mention them about them not working properly. And then, so when someone asked about how can we move forward, the, one of the points you keep mentioning was the issue of changing our thoughts pattern, how we think. So, I think because it's orientation agencies, so they have like a major role to play in actually affecting how people think about especially as Nigerians. I think my state, Delta State, we have a separate education bureau, like instead of COA, for the same reason, but they are not functioning properly. So how can we hold them accountable to the points where, like, the people talk about how local government shaman are not working, shaman are not working,
Jude, I need to critically state this. When you say they are not functioning properly, I have a problem. They're not even functioning. The electoral college is doing their work.
Yes, sir.
The DJ of NOA is the national integrity and citizen and integrity policies domiciled in the NOA. The DJ cannot quote anything on it. No offense.
Oh.
So I keep saying NOA is a problem. The reason why I don't want to talk to them is that NOA is like giving you vitamin C when you have HIV virus. So I don't want to have their conversation. They piss me off that much. So you get the problem, Abi. Do you understand the picture? Yeah, and if NOA has that problem, the one in your state, I say that that one is like drinking water where you have malaria to not cure you. That's it, yeah. And it's ridiculous because you sit down with these people on panels, they don't even know. Well, bros, I don't know. Let's not go there. I don't want to have headache. Let's not discuss things that can give me headache. Just know that, like I've stated clearly, I think I said in a tweet, NOA was talking nonsense, and I said something. I wrote the tweet back to them. They didn't answer me because they know better than to answer me. But I clearly stated that a lot of CSOs in Nigeria will not exist if NOA was doing their job.
Sure.
That's the truth.
Thank you, Edison.
Okay.
Thank you.
Boyenga Peter Oyeola.
Yeah.
Peter
Good evening,
Oyeola.
everyone.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening, ED. Thanks so much for everything. It's been quite a day. from the moment of we trying to change our mindset, reorientate, trying to look forward. And I can see the whole group is going. Greg Anderson says, when we blame, we give away our power. Several stories and narrations has come as regards pre-colonialism, during our colonization and the independence. And I remember at some point in time, one of the questions I tend to ask then was, when I was doing my social study in the junior secondary schools, when they give us that narration of the white man came, they gave some people mirror, then they sold some people into slavery and all that. The question that do comes to my mind was, what were my people doing as at that time that warrant them to have such mindset? What was the value of a mirror to their kinsmen that they were able to sold out their own kinsmen for probably gunpowder, gin, mirror, as it were in those days? But then, just like you said, let's move forward. Let's try to learn what we can, and let's try to look forward to what we can do. And that brings me to one of my questions. Building institutions as against individuals. And my simple question is that, why is it dangerous to focus on leaders instead of building strong institutions? Because I do know that these institutions on the long run is still going to be made out of people. There is definitely going to be leaders, as it were, in all of those institutions. Today we shout, this person is corrupt, that person is corrupt. I might be wrong, might not be right, but of my opinion, I feel like the coming generation will have more tendency or potency of being worse than what we currently have. And I feel like that is one of the things the electoral college is trying to curb. Give us the knowledge of what to avoid, how not to make the same mistakes of what those who have gone ahead of us have made. Ziziglar said, doing the same thing the same way and expecting different results is the beginning of insanity. So I just feel like let's leave so much about what we feel like is not right, which I'm not saying we should trash. Let's get our lesson from it. Let it form the basis upon which we can ask, bring out questions, and then provide solutions to it, which can literally aid our future. And that is the reason why I'm asking that question. What is it that is dangerous about focusing on leaders instead of bringing strong institutions? Knowing that institutions are not just institutions, they will definitely be made out of people, individuals. That is my first question.
Wait, let me answer your first question. And I'm going to answer it very shortly and quickly because we don't have time again.
Thank you,
So
sir.
we always have the conversation. No, wait. I'll answer this one question. Don't go anywhere. So first and foremost, we always talk about institution. You know, when people start speaking institution, I'm like, because here's the conversation. You first have to build the people. When you build the people, then you can have institution and leaders. If you build the institution, who is going to enter the institution? Institution on its own will just be good. How now? Money now, if I say, okay, ED is doing giveaway. You will do anything to collect. ED is giving away 1 million. I become chairman now. And I start telling you Nigeria is X, Nigeria is Y. You guys will agree to it. So these conversations are a little beyond the conversations we're having. So please, I think first we need to build people. You don't build institutions. It's people that are going to man those institutions. So we need to build the people so that you can man the institutions that also man leadership, and then the country can move forward. So let me have the second question, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, second question is, how can our culture be used to unite the people as against the division we tend to see today? Let me structure it in two ways. Can our culture, this current culture we have, can it be used to unite the people instead of using it to divide them? If yes, which I don't know how.
So you have to strategically look at it, and I'll open up a little thing. So one of the things I worked on sometime just a little after 2023, because I was being considered for a position which would have managed those kind of things. One of the things I put forward was clear, and it was simple. I was like, Nigeria should change lingua franca to pidgin. And I look something very simple. We're already writing TOEFL anyway. Are we not, my brother? We're writing TOEFL now.
Yes, sir.
As we're speaking all this English. Are we not writing TOEFL? So why don't we just turn our thing to pidgin so that we're all united? That gives us the first basic skeletal frame of cohesion. And I was like, okay, when we're flying to Turkey, we're flying to Malaysia, you're flying to Addis Ababa, you're flying to Frankfurt, wherever you're flying to. When you enter the airspace, now the language of that place they go speak, though they go add English to join. Why is it when they are flying to Nigeria, British Airways, even as you are landing Abuja, they go still they speak English?
English.
There is something wrong with them. Do you understand?
Yes,
You
sir.
should. So you see those simple things. When you're landing in Lagos, speak Yoruba. When you're landing in even our local flights, when you're landing in Enugu, speak Igbo. When you're landing in Maiduguri, speak Kanuri. When you're landing in Kaduna, speak Hausa. When you're landing in Abuja, speak Gwari. What nonsense! Those little things start to celebrate culture. Why don't we have Nigerians sit down today on DSTV and they are watching MasterChef on DSTV? They're watching MasterChef, Cooking Channel. Look, I was part of the Nigerian Soups Festival this year. It's supposed to be expansive by next year. It was best of its kind this year. It was massive. Oga had stomachache. I tasted over 40 soups that day. And this is minus the ones that I already know. I didn't taste the ones I mean. I tasted 14 new soups that day. My stomach was running for 2 or 3 days. But enjoyment, no, they kill rabbits now. We don't celebrate some things. We don't televise it. Why don't we have TV? Why don't we have a competition? Put the prize money at 5 million. Nigerian soup competition. Everybody coming together, competing. Then maybe, before the thing starts, everybody will match with their native attire, everybody hailing the chef, that. We
Yes,
have these
sir.
things.
Yes,
We
sir.
have these things. We have refused. For me, we have refused to celebrate. See, I said something. I said, till we walk out of the canoe of ethnicity, we will not swim in the waters of diversity. We do not celebrate I'll tell you, I come from different parts of Nigeria. I cannot tell you the advantage it gives me. I enter here, it's a plus. I entered here, it's a plus. I'm here, it's a plus. I'm there, it's a plus. Trust me, it is damn advantageous. I can shift into any mode. We have not sold that conversation. We don't want to discuss. Instead, not from Lagos State. Don't come and run for office. Who made that law? Who made that law? Somebody just told you that thing and put it in your head. It's not in Federal Republic of Nigeria. Anybody can run anywhere. Nobody can stop you. If you lose the election, no problem, but nobody can stop you. So, like I said, we dwell on the old Nigeria. Now, even this generation is shocking what I see on Facebook. It is extra shocking what I see on Twitter. That somebody less than 30 years will write something that, let me not lie, it's just that thunder doesn't used to fire people like old days. Thunder supposed to scatter your head by even for thinking it. We're so tribalistic, so myopic, so short-sighted, so un-Nigerian. I can tell you that I know people that were of the diplomatic corps who loved Nigeria when they came here and they refused to go back. I have friends who work for the World Bank. They are not Nigerians and they refuse to go back. They love this country. And in average Nigerian, even to like this country, you want to dress, you wear coat and tie and be choking yourself. Inside this hot weather. Are you all right? And knock my small cotton kaftan. How they literally easy to eat now. Look now. I
Yes,
get
sir.
crest, we get my. I'll never notice. I get crest, we get my
Yeah,
name.
I do know,
I
sir.
know set as I did. I know
Very,
set as I
very.
did. Person will wear tie reach me.
Not
Are
at
you
all.
joking? So we don't celebrate our culture. We don't regard ourselves. So what do you expect? What do you expect? You think America? Have you seen the poverty in America? Now say you never travel now. Go America, go see people where they live inside trolley. They go shop right, they use trolley. You want argue, they carry go where people they live inside trolley. No problem now. Japa, let's see now. You're at the stage where your friends are about to become about to become commissioner at this age. Now you carry yourself the Japa. Japa now. You'll be working for Marks and Spencer. When I'm buying t-shirt or shirts there, I'll walk into the office and see you. You will live here that you're working for Glow at directorial level with your house and everything. Say you want to japa because you want to be washing dead bodies or running 3 jobs because you want 24 hours electricity. I have a question. You have 24 hours electricity in Canada, UK, and US. You fit enjoy the 24 hours electricity. You know fit. Work no go gree you. The mortgage where you will pay everything. No go gree you. How you want to enjoy? Your phone go see they die like say you did Nigeria. That's the truth because you're working down the clock. You know, guess it. They'll say, he's in Jan, he's busy. He's busy because he's slaving. You are here. Yeah, federal government is paying you. We all know that from 10 o'clock once you reach office, now they argue Chelsea and Arsenal. You know, are you crazy? Ah, the problem with us, we say we no take understand where they pay us. We know they even for strong waiting they happen with us. So look, leave our matter, Joe. Leave our matter. Leave our matter.
Any word for the religious leaders in this regard as to how they can help unite the people instead of divide?
Wait. Since I'm speaking pidgin now, may I continue for pidgin? You never see country where advance because of religious leaders. Look at Iran. Should I list the countries where no get sense because of religious leaders?
Hmm. Yes, sir.
So why do you mention religious leaders when you're talking about advancements? I don't understand. Which of them has helped you? I don't want to call anybody's name so that you'll not start saying he has bad mouth. Some people will start pouring holy water on their phones because of me, because I get bad mouth. But which country has advanced because of religion? I don't please listen to because I don't know. The religion has no space. Look, let me be honest with you. God gave us faith, man created religion, something that I say a lot. And that's the truth. Somebody will tell you that Jesus is not like poor people. That's who you are following. Somebody that is ready to enter private jets and splash water on his co-worshipper after lying on the floor and saying, I beg. See, Nigeria, for me, I believe there's extremism in both religions. It's just that one religion likes private jets more than the other. That's the truth. No, that's by conversation, end of story. You like vex, you like no vex.
All right, thank you so much for your time, sir.
My pleasure.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Good evening. Thank you for all you have done so far. So I have a question, and my question is, we've always been saying that external interest has been influencing the country so far. Do you believe in that? And that's the first one. The second one is, how can we reduce these influences long term? And the third question would be, is this reduction, is it only hinge on our economic capacity? Or is there something else we can do that can help us improve this?
Okay, I could need to state this. The first and foremost, no country that collects aid has ever advanced in the world. So stop collecting aid. That means a lot of your systems will break down, so you better be prepared for the outcome. There's external influence in Nigeria, whether we like it or not. Don't deceive yourself. If you think America loves us, and that's why they're saying our elections should be like this, or you forget it. Forget it. Send your papa. Who wants a black nation that has more resources than any developed country to be advanced? No, you hold them because they have plenty refugees that can japa any time. So you have to hold the country enough for them to be stupid and then give them enough for them to be and not want to develop. Why do you think other African countries hate Nigeria? You think these guys are cool? They're not cool. It's because you know your potential, and you guys are goddamn dropping the ball. So there's no influence. We refuse to act on it, and we can't act on it because we don't want to work hard. Let's leave this outline like that. Let's get people and pray. So I want to discuss. I'm only going to allow one more question, and I'm going to close the class. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Abiodun. Abiodun, you can unmute and ask your question.
Why did you do it, Anna Abiodun? Why that's cheating now. One of my
Good
names
evening,
is
sir.
Abiodun.
Good evening,
Good
sir.
evening. Good evening.
I want to be quick with my question. In view of Nigerian complex ethnicity diversity and the fundamental belief in true federalism, how did General Aguiyi-Ironsi 1966 decree number 34, which is known as Unified Decree, not only undermine the federal structure, but also lay the groundwork for the persistent cap in hand to Abuja, dependency on cultural among states, critically evaluate the long-term political and economic consequence of this capitalized action on Nigerian federalism. That is, every state in Nigeria believe only the federal that is the central. I want you to tell us how the 1966 Aguiyi-Ironsi Unitary Decree is affecting the country now.
My people talk say me I continue to start some pages. So may I answer this thing? My guy, in a democracy, Decree 34 don't die with Rossi. They shoot him. As they shoot Rossi, they shoot Decree 34. Why did they bring out on this class for 2025? Waiting Rossi got to do with this matter for here. I do not get it. So, nobody
Why
today
I'm
was to
saying
discuss
this
matters.
is that, excuse me, sir. Why I'm bringing it, I know we are no more
Why I'm saying is
in
what?
the era of decree.
Mm-hmm.
We are doing federalism. Everybody believes everything is from the federal, not knowing that there is. Let me just give an example. There are some Cray Road, some B Road, and some C Road. But if every road is spoiled in Nigeria, they will say the federal government are not doing anything. Is it not because of the belief in the unitary system that was brought to Nigeria by then is still in our head?
Abiodun, first and foremost, you have forgotten something touching. And you've done the local government class. Roads in every local government is under the jurisdiction of local government, whichever it is, whether it's federal road with laws or whatever. There's nothing like federal and state road. Those are anomalies put in by politicians to hide behind one person not participating. Once a road is in a local government, the jurisdiction is on that local government, the reconstruction of that road. So that's the way it is. So leave that conversation. I told you Decree 34 died with Rossi, meaning that by the time Yakubu Gowon took over, there was nothing left of Decree 34 that we can bring forward. So let's not even discuss that matter. Let's even remember Nigeria was still in regions. 76, Gowon created 12 states. It's so out of touch with Nigeria present. So let's not even mention it, please. I beg you, I beg, Joe, people, don't even mention it.
Okay,
So
sir.
everyone,
Okay, sir.
Everyone,
Okay,
do we
sir.
have a girl with a class? Somebody said me speak Pidgin will confuse everybody. So do we have a female with a question so that because I barely had females in this class. You have a female with a question, I'll take that and then that's the end.
Okay, I can't see any female. I know that Mobolaji should be male. Abiodun has spoken, Ibrahim Yusuf. So we don't have any female.
No, wait, I can't see any fire. You're saying you're female. Did you raise your hand?
Let the person raise his hand.
Oh, Mobolaji is a female. No.
Okay. Oh. Please, you can unmute and ask your question, Mobolaji.
Who is it? Who is Idris in the Idris? Don't make that kind of statement in electoral college. Or you say anything. I can expel you for that kind of statement. Don't make that kind of statement. I know it's a joke, but don't make that kind of statement.
Good evening, Mr. Lawal. Am I being heard?
Mobalaji, go ahead.
So my
I know Mobalaji. I know you're a girl now. Mobalaji the Great. What's going on?
I'm fine, sir. Thank you. So my question was on your lecture with when we were talking about the diversification of Nigeria's economy. So I wanted to ask how we can diversify Nigeria's economy past oil dependency without hurting the income we already get from foreign direct investors. Because if you remember, you talked about how
Hey,
Nigeria has.
Mobalaji, you want this class to last 3 more hours?
Oh no.
No, because so let me answer it in the
I've been
quickest
reading
way
my hand for
possible.
a while.
Let me answer it in the quickest way possible.
Okay.
Diversification of Nigeria's economy is dependent on local governments really becoming autonomous and having access to things which are on the exclusive list, which are their own materials, which can help them start to earn their own FDI. And because they can do that in conjunction with states that they own, which means there's no more pressure on the federal, which means for every local government and its resources which it has, it can earn money from it. And at that point, just the same way they're earning oil derivation in Akwa Ibom and rivers and coal, they can start to create a higher revenue for Nigeria, which can help Nigeria move forward with its investment. More dollars we get in, the better our economy rises, the higher the value of our dollar. Is that fine, Mobolaji? That was a quick thought overview of it.
Okay, thank you. I did understand what you said, so thank you.
You said?
I said I understood what you said, so thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mobolaji. Thank you very much. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for straining my time today. I was thinking I was going to go and watch FIFA World Cup. My friends had a little argument over Real Madrid and Dortmund. I think PSG has even started with Bayern Munich. So let me get to football. Thank you everyone for attending this class. The triple is glad to have all of you. A few names which I know: Lucy, something Sado. I think is it Timothy Sado, and a few others. It's always great to have you guys. So to your the game has ended. Oh no, PSG won. Oh no, I don't want PSG to win. But they win everything. Anyway, let me stop hating. Okay, guys. Have a lovely evening. Thank you for everything.
Okay, thank you so much, Edie. I can actually give you updates on the match, but that's fine. So please, thank you everyone for joining
Please,
class.
I'm
Let's do
beefing
this
you guys. I'm
again
beefing you
tomorrow.
guys because I plan to win the match. Look at what love for country has caused. Match has finished. I know.
What we do for country. So please, thank you everyone. Let's reconvene again tomorrow, same time at 4:45, 4:40. The class will be open for us to join. Please, let's try as much as possible to also share what we've learned with other people on social media. Tag the college, follow our YouTube channel, subscribe, and be updated with our activities. Keep yourself updated with our activities. Thank you so much. Bye. See you tomorrow.